If President Trump wasn't our president now for the second time, what would have happened to our military? Pete Hegseth, The War on Warriors. I finally finished the book, and it wasn't that it was a hard read. It just, overall, this book made me feel sad, and I couldn't read it for long periods of time. And it made me feel sad because it really awakened my eyes and awakened myself to find out, hey, what was happening with our military. And I'm under the impression, always growing up, I never had the opportunity to be in the military. It just wasn't a thing in my cards. I have a lot of other stories about that, why that. Now looking back, that probably the one mistake I made in my life was not joining the military. But I always, picture the military as a run and gun. Let's go, take no prisoners. We'll do what's right and make sure that we win the wars, which is pretty much what Pete wants to do and says in his book. But to find out that somewhere along the lines, it wasn't that anymore. I had to realize, man, where were we going with that? And how far did we get off the rails? And I just wonder, if President Trump wasn't our president now for the second time, what would have happened to our military? What would Russia, China, North Korea, Iran done with their military against our allies, against us in general? And it's not a good feeling. But the happy ending is, of course, hey, President Trump won the election. Pete Hegseth is now the Department Secretary of Defense. So it kind of makes it like, all right, fine, great. And, if it wasn't made for TV or made for a movie, it'd be a different story. But there is one passage that I wanted to read. This is from the book, from page 199. This is Pete says, I don't blame the left, like Elena Kagan, Supreme Court Justice. We know who they are now. They always wanted to make our military woke and weak. Their sins, I now understand. The biggest sin, the most unforgivable, was that we, the military, allowed it to occur. And I just, mistakes are mistakes. We have to learn from our mistakes. And thank God that we learned and never, hopefully never repeat it again, but it's certainly not in Pete Hegseth's time, not in President Trump's time. And I'm just very fortunate that where we're at right now and what we can accomplish. So thank you, Secretary Hegseth, for writing this book. Thank you for what you do and your sacrifices to all of our men and women around the world, sacrificing day in and day out for our safety and for the fact that I can be on this radio and talk anything I want to. I thank you for that. God bless you. And let's keep reading Truth Between Lines. Between